Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of How to Be Catholic at Home. This episode is going to be the first of a 3-part series called Night Prayer and Morning Prayer. Now, Father Jared, doesn't morning come before night? Well, my experience is that it's so important to do the night prayer preparations well to help us hopefully get a good night's sleep and gives us a lot better shot of starting off the next day well. So yeah, we are going to start with night prayer first. Now, even though we are all grown-ups, I have found that the most important thing in getting ready to try and have some time to pray before I go to bed is to have a bedtime. To know a specific time that I'm actually hoping to be attempting to fall asleep, God willing, at least a time when I'm planning to be in bed. And then working back from the time I'm hoping to actually be in bed to carve out a period of time where I'm going to be letting go of the cares of the day. You may have heard this referred to as the concept of sleep hygiene, trying to let go of the cares of the day, transition over to that time of sleep. Biggest thing for me, and perhaps for a lot of you as well, is that means that that's a time with no screens, no phone, no computer, no TV, no blue light, as they say, shining into our brains. And this time that hopefully we're claiming or reclaiming for nothing else, we're going to try and devote some of that time over to God. I know that this is all from the perspective of somebody who's in complete control of their own schedule. If you're a parent, if you're a caretaker, if you work crazy hours or are on call, I know that this may be an unreachable ideal. Just make adjustments however you possibly can. Take these as ideas, not as requirements. Some of these may work for you, and if not, then hopefully something in a future video will fit in for you. For the nighttime routine, boring is good. We don't necessarily want to be super stimulated and invigorated with some brand new experience. God may give that to you anyway, but likely our nighttime routine will be simple, quiet, and that makes sense as it's preparing us to go to sleep. Now, as we've sort of prepared our mental and spiritual space, then getting ready for prayer, then the question is, what might we actually do during this prayer time? I would first suggest calling attention to or putting up in your bedroom a sacred image. I'm not telling you need to spend a bunch of money on sacred art, but if you don't have anything at all, then maybe just something simple, even if it's just a simple wooden cross. And if you want to possibly upgrade that, then whatever. It's not about spending money on something expensive, though, but to have an image of the crucified Lord, the crucifix, to have an image of the Blessed Mother, the Blessed Virgin Mary, perhaps an image of the Holy Family, our patrons of our parish, of a guardian angel, of your name saint or your confirmation saint. Just a reminder, an image in your room that God, who is love, is constantly looking over you, whether you're awake or asleep. So a sacred image somewhere in your room. Then there is an ancient practice called the examen. The examen is thinking about your day, telling God thank you for the good things that happened to that day, saying sorry to God for any sins you may have committed that day, maybe even making a note that there was a serious sin that day and remembering that I need to get to confession the next time I possibly can. But for those less serious sins, to offer them up to God and to say some form of an act of contrition to God from your heart at that time. It's a very old idea that each day and then coming to the end of the day is a miniature practice of coming to the end of life and getting ready to meet God. So just as we think about our day and give it over to God, so someday, hopefully many, many years from now, each of us will come to the end of our life and will offer up to God an accounting for how we have used our time. It seems like it's just for little kids, but some of these prayers, just like the grace for before meals, is not too simple for an adult to pray. The angel of God, my guardian dear. I'll put that up at the end. It's a wonderful thing to start out with if you're just getting into the practice of night prayers. You could have some kind of routine of reading scripture. It's a nice, quiet way to spend some time with God. Maybe you could read the readings from that day, or maybe the readings for the upcoming day that will be read at Mass, whether you can actually attend Mass or not. There is a set prayer called night prayer, or compline, which is the Latin word for night prayer. And I have already posted a link to that on the parish Facebook page. If you would like something that is really rote, there's a different one for each night of the week. It is a beautiful and ancient prayer. The guide that I posted a link to will explain to you exactly how it works. And this is a little bit of a bigger step. This is something that probably takes 5 to 7 minutes. So not long at all. But it's kind of would be a step up from simply saying a short memorized prayer. But night prayer compline is a beautiful and ancient way to end the day for a Christian. Night prayer typically concludes, though you could do this standalone or at the end of any kind of prayer that you do, with a hymn to the Blessed Virgin Mary. There are different hymns that are sung different times of the year, and the hymns change as we go through the seasons. There's one for Lent, there's one for Advent, there's one for the Easter season. You could also just say the Hail Mary, say Hail Holy Queen. I would love to teach as many of you as would like to learn any of the traditional Marian Anthems, which are Latin hymns to the Blessed Virgin that are sung at the end. Maybe in a future video, I might attempt to sing some of those, or maybe link a video to a professional doing so. And then this might help, or depending on your personality, might not help you fall asleep. But actually, like while you're lying in bed, as opposed to the counting sheep or whatever, some people even take that as a time to continue some prayer. Obviously, that would be a moment for some very, very simple kind of prayer, something repeated. For me personally, even the rosary is a little bit too much thinking, while I'm trying to fall asleep with the mysteries and so forth. But I do say something that may be familiar to Eastern Christians, the Jesus prayer, because it's just one short prayer repeated over and over. Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. We'll definitely focus on the rosary and the Jesus prayer more in depth at a later time. So I'm just putting up the text to the most common version of the Angel of God prayer there. I hope that some of this might help you if you find some time in the evening to give the day over to God. Maybe some of this will work for you. Maybe it just won't work because life is too crazy. But perhaps something might fit in with your schedule and might help you to claim some time to give over to the Lord, to give thanks to Him at the end of our day.